Hi, Growlers fans. This is Brian Colopy, Growlers Vice President. I'm here with our manager, Cody Piechocki. We're going to be talking about the 2019 season, what fans can look forward to. We're going to recap the awesome 2018 season and just talk Growlers baseball. So, Cody, thanks for joining us.
Yep.
And man, let's start 2018. And what an awesome year we had last year. And you know, from your perspective, how did it go?
I mean, it was everything we wanted it to be. I think we always highlight some main goals every year, and that's to win the Crosstown Cup, to make the playoffs, to have a chance at the championship, and I think we accomplished all three of those things. So I think last season is a high level of success.
Yeah, put it in context. I mean, you've been here from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
2014, our first year, started as an assistant, worked your way to manager. Like, talk about, previous years building this and how 2018 season made it kind of worth it.
Well, the first 5 years are about as humbling as they could have been.
Yeah.
It's a tough league, and there's so much turnover, and everything every summer is so much different that it takes a very unique attitude or perspective to learn how to be successful in the Northwoods League. And I think it's why you see so many coaches come and go, because it's exhausting at times. And I think we finally figured out what that took from a roster standpoint, to assistant coaches, to the message in the clubhouse. And I think that's going to be a success that we'll be able to maintain, because as long as you have experience, that's always going to be an edge in this league.
Yeah. 22 teams now? I mean, the league's only growing. The competition for getting the top players in the country is it's harder and harder every year. Talk about that process. I mean, last year I think we talked. The players that we were able to bring in, you just could tell in the clubhouse they were just a different breed and just a really good group of guys. So just talk about how it's harder and recruiting these guys in, how that process works.
Well, really for me, I think it was trial and error and getting a chance to watch a lot of the managers. They come in and they have their own idea of the type of player you're looking for. And my first year I had an idea and I didn't like it, and I had to make some changes. The biggest change for me was to do what I was good at, and what I'm good at is teaching younger players. And so we changed our focus to the best freshmen, sophomores in the country, and that's what I'm comfortable with as a junior college coach, is working with that younger player. And we changed our recruiting to that. That allowed us to get a higher caliber guy. No offense to some of the older ones we have, but a lot of times by their junior year, if they're the top talent, they're thinking about the draft that year. So we shifted down to freshman and sophomore. We got a really great mix of some kids who I think you're going to see in the first or second rounds in the next couple of years. And we continued that strategy moving forward this offseason.
That's awesome. Talk to about how it works. I mean, I always get the question, when are you filling out, or when's a roster getting filled out? Where are you guys at? But a lot of times I tell people, hey, we're done, and they're so surprised. So just tell people how it actually works, how we sign these guys, how do we recruit them in, just go through that process.
Yeah, the relationships are so important. I think that's the number one thing, is having coaches in the NCAA who trust our organization, trust our coaches, and trust our philosophy, because they're loaning us kids who are worth millions of dollars, and they have to know that we're going to take care of those young men. And when you go through that process, you're calling teams in June, July, and August, and if you had a bad relationship, you're not going to get those players back. So I think going into year 3, we've been able to build that trust. And when you have schools like Virginia, who was telling me in June, we love what you're doing, we have 3 more for you next summer. And the day we got done with the playoffs, the next day, we had those 3 players committed from Virginia, and the contracts are being sent out. And that's August. And I think by the time we got to the first or second week of September, I can tell you I was coaching fall ball at Kalamazoo Valley, and at the same time answering phone calls from these coaches all across the country, and driving my golf cart out in the outfield, finishing up a phone call, getting these top players committed, and then going back to practice. And you just have to be willing to call and research, and we've got some great people who assist with that. And by the time it was October 1st, this entire roster of really 40 players, you got your 30 regular and your 10 temp contract guys, was basically full. And I don't think a lot of people realize how much effort goes into that and how soon you have to do it, because there's so many summer teams now that if you're not making those calls early, you're going to miss those players. So we're calling a lot of these schools before they've started fall ball. And some coaches are different, but I would say by October 1st, our goal is to have the whole contract finished.
It's amazing. It's amazing that happens that quick. And I think we talked internally. It's the long. We want this thing to be good. 5 to 10 years down the road. We want coaches to be calling us. Excited to bring guys to Kalamazoo. So I think I've been more than impressed with what you've been able to do last year, and we're excited for 2019. And talking 2019. I mean, let's talk this year a little bit. The roster's pretty filled out. We're going to start announcing those as we get closer here. But what did when you were looking at the 2019 roster, learning what you did in 2018, making the playoffs for the first time, winning our first playoff game, what did you learn from that, and how does that lead into the 2019 roster?
Well, I think we're much better at evaluating the players who are offered to us, and that's become such a focus. Is not just getting caught up in the name of the school, but really taking the time to evaluate. And luckily for us, high school recruiting has become such a national power that there's a lot of websites and info and videos. And myself and my assistant coaches, every time we get a list of names, we're taking those kids and we're truly evaluating them as much as I would for the recruits I'm bringing into my college. So what we're finding is we have a better idea of the type of player who's going to succeed in this league. We're then taking that information, the coach's feedback, the video, what their role is going to be in the spring, and building that to shape the type of roster we want, which is athletic, it's future top 5-round draft picks, it's young guys who are going to be fresh and have a lot of energy to come in the summer, it's pitchers who throw a lot of strikes, that avoid giving away free bases. And so that evaluation process, I think, is going to allow us to have more consistency every summer.
That's awesome. I mean, you've been in the league longer than probably anybody now. I think you're one of the longest tenured coaches almost in the league now. What makes Kalamazoo special? What makes it different? Like, you've been to these ballparks, you've seen the other organizations. Just give a little sneak peek on what Kalamazoo is like across the league.
Well, I can tell you this. I've seen the league grow and change about almost every year. 6 or 7 times we've changed divisions. We've added teams. It seems to be an annual thing. And when I started and Kalamazoo wasn't here, the division shifted a lot. There was kind of 3 or 4 teams that came in the same year, including Kalamazoo. And I think what we offered is such a classy setting. You have a newer stadium. You have a town that offers everything. You have great fan support. I think when you start adding that all up and you're recruiting college players to come to a college town where fans really understand what these players are trying to do, that builds a very successful environment for these young men to come in and be supported in their pursuit to be pro players. So I think Kalamazoo is just special in the fact that you're bringing college players to a college town. And if we look at the league, there's really only 2 major cities that check that off, and that's us and Madison, Wisconsin. So I think that's a big selling point for us. And the facilities, the stadium, they're just so high class for what we have that's a selling point. I mean, that's what we tell every coach is, we've got great weight facilities. We have indoor hitting facilities. We have this amazing locker room. We've got a brand new stadium. I mean, you could be a Division I and die for a facility like this. So we're just so blessed in that regard.
Yeah, and we were at the league meetings, and we heard a couple NCAA coaches, one of the head coaches from Arizona, the head coach from Arizona mentioned that one of the top reasons they place their players is their host family program, which really blew me away. And I think that's another thing that, Tanya and all of our amazing host families, I mean, it's crazy that these people open their homes to these kids. They don't know who they are. They build these bonds over the course of the summer, and I think we have one of the best host family groups in the league, and it continues to grow and build more. So I'm excited for the 2019 season. I know everyone in the offices, our fans. I can't thank you enough for everything you've been doing, and we're excited to have you back, man. So we'll look forward to a great summer, man, and thank you again for being our coach and believing in us. And we'll look forward to seeing you this summer, man, out on the ballpark. You gonna get thrown out anytime this summer? How many? What's the over/under on throwouts this summer? That's my biggest question for you.
I think last year we had 5.
Okay.
So I would like to keep it there just because they are expensive.
Okay.
Fans realize that.
All right.
So we try to get those out of the way early. Send the team a message. I'm there to support them, and then once my checking account's empty, then I kind of ease back on it. So we'll try to keep that number about 5.
Cool. All right, man. Thanks, Cody.
Thank you.
All right, buddy.